really, really a great question. Something that's always bothered me when it comes to Olympic lifting is people say, well, if you do the Olympic lift, you're going to become more explosive. And they use the example of, well, that guy at the Olympics, you know, he's really, really explosive, and he can dunk a basketball, and that's really, and you can't use that as an example because that guy's going to be explosive no matter what he does. He was explosive, that's why he's at the Olympics. So, you know, doing the snatch and clean and jerk is not necessarily going to make you any better at any of the Olympic lifts. I think for the average person, if you are beginning, because it is so technical, and anything that is technical means you have a great chance of doing it wrong. And when you do something wrong, there's a great chance that you're going to get hurt. So anything like that, if you just add it into your program and you go really, really hard, it's probably you're going to end up injured and everything's going to go in the toilet. So when it comes down to the Olympic lifts, you know, I would stick with very, very, very light weights and use it more for recovery sessions. Maybe, you know, a lot of people say, well, do it at the beginning of your training because it doesn't affect the rest of your training. Well, it does affect the rest of my training. So I would do it at the end of your training sessions. Very, very light technical work. It's great for the day after, the Strongman event day, to get in the gym. It's great for recovery because so much of the Olympic lifts, you cannot do them if you're beat up. If your hips are tight, if your lower back is tight, if anything hurts. You know, I deadlifted this morning, so if I don't go and snatch tonight, tomorrow I'm going to be dead and I won't be able to snatch for a week. So if you can't sit in a full squat naturally, like most powerlifters can't just sit in a full squat naturally. Most strongmen, the day after a strongman event day, can't do that either. It's great for recovery. So if you did events in the morning, get back and snatch a clean and jerk. In the evening, just pick some light weights. But I think it's great recovery. The big thing, I think, with the Olympic lifts is that the benefit for everyone isn't necessarily the lift. It's the process of getting your body to be able to do those lifts. And in that process of getting more flexible, more agile, that's what's going to add another decade onto your training career. So that's really, really rare. I mean, it's really common for people to be great at one and then terrible at the other. I wouldn't say switch, but whatever's going to give you the biggest number on contest day is what you need to be doing and getting efficient at. But you have to take into, you know, I work with clients and they come to me, they're a great conventional deadlifter. Let's say they can deadlift 600 pounds conventional. And I tell them, okay, I want to see you raw, I want to see you sumo deadlift. And they look totally ridiculous with 315. So obviously it sticks out. They've got a major weakness with their sumo. So by bringing up their sumo, almost always their conventional or something, maybe their squat will rise or their good morning will rise, which we can transfer that good morning strength over into their conventional deadlift. So that could be either just be he needs to be doing more sumo and then not forget that maybe his conventional training built his sumo. So if he threw his conventional training out the window, maybe that sumo would rise a little bit as he got technically better at it, but the conventional deadlift was what was really building his sumo deadlift all this time. So if he quits doing the conventional, his sumo deadlift after a while is going to do, you know, it's going to fall as well. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with doing both. You know, I tore my left hamstring off 9 years ago, and I was literally black and blue from my waist to my foot, and every time I did anything for legs for more than a year, I was still black and blue. And I did that deadlifting, a sumo deadlift attempt of 640. And it has literally been 8.5 years since I pulled sumo. And I told myself this year, I'm gonna learn to pull sumo again. So I began at 3 plates and just slowly began working up. And then this year I pulled it real easy, I think 675 for a double, right after pulling it conventional for a double. So you've gotta get decent at both. But I don't know, I'm saying, right, get me video. You have me on Facebook, give me some video. I will be happy to look at the sumo and conventional for you, only for you. Get me that video and I'll be more than happy to look at it, see if I can pick out anything that's going on. But don't avoid it, absolutely, do not avoid one for the other.
The only whores that are worth anything are tight all the time.
I just wanna fuck bad bitches. All them nights I never had bitches.
Hey,
now I'm all up in
we're talking about benching here.